Hey, how are you? Hope you're all well, enjoying the weather wherever you are. Today, another hot one. I've been up since 4:45. Even the other half today has been up since, I think he said about 4 o'clock. Obviously couldn't sleep. It was quite hot last night. And yeah, it's just difficult trying to, get comfortable and all the rest of it. I don't mind it so much. I have actually had a fan on recently, and I don't usually do that because I hate the noise, but the earplugs are in. It's the summer. This is not a great place to sleep, to be honest with you. Although I get up early anyway, so whatever. I love that time in the morning. It's where my brain's more active. So don't know why. Who knows? Um. Okay. This week I want to talk about the book that's just been published on Amazon, Out of the Hallway. And let me just first thank everyone who's bought a copy. It really does mean a lot to me. It's kind of taken off in quite a big way, and that means a tremendous amount for me as an individual. It kind of validates the reason I wrote the book in the first place. And for those of you who don't know, it was a difficult book to write, basically because it was about a point in time in my life that, although it's left me with the most memories, it's also been the most emotional. It was a hard book to write, in effect, a really, really hard book, because although the memories are positive in the main, there was also a lot of difficulty at that time in my life, and writing about it had brought back some good and bad memories, negative and positive, really. And I've had some feedback on Amazon, which was lovely, and it was yeah, it brought a tear to my eye, really, because I'm a person who doesn't show emotions well. Never have been. I mean, you asked my other half that, and I'm not a particularly emotional person. I have become more so as I've got older, but writing about events that were really, really challenging it's made me cry, laugh. It's made me regret. It's given me a lot of food for thought, really, and knowing that people are reading it and enjoying it and understanding it is the most positive aspect of that book for me. The first book, Echoes in the Hallway, was very, very different. They were just quite, how would you put it, twee memories from a very an idyllic childhood, really. And I decided to write that book particularly in very, very small short stories of about 1,000 words, mainly because as a child, I don't, memories are a little bit shorter. I don't have any real long-term memories, but I have quite a few short-term ones. So writing 1,000 word, um, story, it suited that book really, really well, and I was able to use AI to produce photographs for that book to go with the stories I wrote, which were great, and it was a very different book. Out of the Hallway was a little bit darker, to say the least, and it's gosh, I've actually read that book, my book Out of the Hallway, 5 or 6 times now. And as I read it, I'm thinking to myself, well, I could have said that differently, or I could have said more about that, or I could have done this, or could have done that. And truth be told, I could write that book over again and double it in size, quite simply. But there comes a point where you have to cut off and say, look, this is the book. These are the points I need to talk about, and I can forever and ever and ever keep adding and adding and adding. But that wasn't the idea behind it. The book itself was a coming out story, so it wasn't really about documenting chronologically events in my life. It was my coming out story, so the important events that led up to me coming out, in the in the mid 1990s. Thank you. That's all I can say, really. Thank you, and it's appreciated. And I'd also like to thank people for your emails as well, which have been quite heartfelt at times, and thank you for understanding my journey, because not many people know the difficulties I went through as a young adult. In effect, they will now, having read the book, but they were quite hard. They were hard times, really hard times. They were the hardest times of my life, but they were also the happiest times of my life. There you go. That's the emotions. I have started to write a new book, and it will follow the next. What I'm going to try and do is extend the period. I mean, the last two books have been sort of 10-year periods, and this one that's coming up is probably going to be a little bit longer, and it's going to be called Love Without Borders. Well, it's going to have two titles in effect. So it's going to be called Beyond the Hallway, to sort of fit in with the theme of the other two books, and it will have a subsidiary title as such, Love Without Borders, and it will follow the journey that me and my other half have taken since getting together in 1995, and I'm going to take that up to 2015, and there's a lot to cover in that book, but I think it's important to keep all of that together as one rather than splitting it. I mean, the first one was my childhood, the next one was my sort of teenage, early adult years, and this one is about my relationship with my husband. And I think it's important to keep all of that material into one book, because it would be disjointed otherwise. And I've got the cover sorted. I've actually started writing the book, so I've written the introduction, and it's this one. It holds a lot of memories for very, very different reasons, and emotionally, it was a real roller coaster ride when I sort of got with my husband and we sort of moved abroad, and we were kind of back and forth between countries and carting paperwork around and having to prove to the authorities who we were and our relationship. And you know, even today I still have to prove my relationship with my husband, and this is what, how long have we been together? 31 years. I still have to prove that. So I still have a shed load of paperwork that I have to carry around. Crazy. That should all end when, well, actually it won't end, I'm lying. When I get my passport, Australian passport this year, that side of it will end. But if we ever decide to go back to the UK or Europe, we will still need to prove that relationship together. It's a never-ending process. When you marry someone from a different country, generally in a same-sex relationship, you will have difficulties, real hardships to prove your relationship together. I mean, that goes, to be honest, it goes the same whether you're in a straight or a gay relationship. You're still going to have those difficulties if you marry someone from abroad. It's hard. It really is difficult. Now, one of the emails I received was from, no, I'm not going to mention the name because that wouldn't be fair, but they wanted to know why all of a sudden now I'm writing in the way I am. And my blog as such has become a secondary issue. I'm kind of doing more videos as I am today with you, because everything else is consumed with writing the books. Now, the reason is because of my recent eye diagnosis, which could, in theory, turn out quite problematic for me. Now, you know, I'm a glaucoma suspect. I have a high ocular pressure. I've also been diagnosed with narrow angles, and which means I could go blind within a few hours. So it's this is kind of like a labour of love now. This is about me getting out my story in case anything happens. Not saying anything will happen, but this is my, how can I put it? What would it be called? This is my dying ambition as such to get my life down in print and out there. And I suppose I want to leave something behind, which is kind of why I continue to do the blog, even if it's more of a vlog now with videos than writing. It's about leaving a legacy. Now, I haven't done a huge amount with my life. I've, been through ups and downs, obviously, but, everyone has. And, I'm now living in Australia, which not many people have had that opportunity to do. But I think I have a story to tell. And I want to get that story out there. It's quite interesting because I was contacted by someone who actually promotes stories from individuals like me for making into documentaries, films, or whatever. And they were interested in my story and wanted to know if I wanted to talk to someone about possibly taking it further. Not something I've thought about, and it might be something I will look forward to doing in the future. I'm not too sure at the moment. It's not top of my list of priorities. My priority is getting this third book out. And the book after that, which I haven't even thought about, will I think it will come naturally, because that will take us up to the present day, really. And I've got so many memories, about the time living in Spain, having to go back to the UK, COVID. There's a lot for that potential book, and so I've even got ideas for that at the moment. But for the moment, it's all about this current book that's now up for sale. So if you haven't bought it, buy a copy. And I hope you enjoy it. The people who have bought it, one of them said to me, "It's very honest," and indeed it is. It's honest without being gratuitous, without being too overtly, how can I say it, raucous, without being too bad as such. I've had a chaotic life at various stages, and I've tried to record it in such a way that it's acceptable to most people. As a gay man, my life back then was not conducive to a wonderful career, a marriage and children, obviously, but it was my life, and I own it. It's my personal life, and I'm happy to share it with people like you. Gosh, this vlog today seems a little bit disjointed, but this is just me. This is coming from the heart today, because I have been really, really taken aback by all your messages of support, and the few shocked messages of you are being really honest. Yes, I am being honest, and I could have been more honest if I wanted to. So this is coming from the heart today. This is, yes, it's disjointed. I'm going from different things, but it's literally coming from the heart. Anything I say in a video is never scripted or edited, as you are well aware, because it is like this. But here, today, on a Friday morning, I feel the need to get things off my chest. And whether I'm talking to myself, as I am today in a video, or all of you out there, and I get replies, and I do get people contacting me. It's all very cathartic and therapeutic, and great for my sense of well-being, which is the most important thing for me now at my stage of life. So yeah, look, the third book coming up. I will have a little picture of the cover on today's video banner for YouTube, so you can take a sneaky peek at what it will look like. And Out the Hallway, read it, let me know what you think about it, leave some comments on Amazon. If you don't like it, say so. Just be truthful. You know, it's a romantic love story with a very human side to it, and I think it proves that none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. None of us are. We've all led lives that we would possibly not have wanted at times, but it makes us who we are as individuals, and that is the most important thing. Yeah, once again, thanks to all the people who contributed to the book as well, especially to my ex-partner Martin, who was very honest. And I just want to make a little comment about that. When I wrote the book and I wrote my piece about Martin, and I never really truly knew why Martin left me, and our relationship ended. And this was in sort of 93, 94, around that sort of time. And I never knew the answer to that. I did contact Martin. We were chatting, and I said, "Look, would you like to write something? Just jog my memory a bit about why things happened the way they did." He jogged my memory to the extent this is really bizarre, but I couldn't remember the exact circumstances of why we got together. And I think it's because when the relationship ended, I never really truly knew why, and I kind of blocked that side out as such. Martin has now told me what went wrong. It was nothing to do with me. It was to do with the way he was feeling as an individual. So he couldn't cope with his sexuality, a bit like what happened in the book with me and my first real boyfriend, Wayne. I couldn't cope with my sexuality, so took a step back and walked away. Martin did the same thing at that point. And he also told me, which I never knew, up until very recently, that he was diagnosed with autism. Now, I never knew that. And he didn't know if that had some bearing on what happened. I don't know. If anybody does know, or anyone can shed some light on that, do let me know. I don't know if that is something that, a stumbling block as such. And, there's been many issues that I've had in life which have been stumbling blocks to relationships and other, career opportunities and moves and house moves and all the rest of it. And, sometimes the demons we wrestle with prevents us from being or doing the things we really want to do. And that is the sad fact of life. So thank you, Martin. Love you always. And you know that. And obviously to Little John as well for your lovely foreword for the book, which was lovely because John was and still is an exceedingly important person in my life, and I love him deeply. He is the family I never had, and thank you for that as well. You are a true diamond. I was going to say a rough diamond. You were a rough diamond. You're not so much of a rough diamond now. So there we go. Anyway, look, that's it. Buy the book. Message me. Let me know how it is. If, as I say, tell me the truth, and I will keep you informed about the new book that's coming up. So until then, look after yourselves and have a great week.